All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Oregairu, Season 1, Episode 1. We got ourselves a new show.
We do, and I gotta say, it's been too long since I've been able to sink my teeth properly into a true romantic comedy.
Right, yeah.
And this does seem to be that, if the title would lead us to believe the correct thing.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, the title seems almost like a little bundle of chaos in and of itself, which in some ways gives me like certain vibes surrounding the show in general, because it feels like a light novel title, but it also feels like I'm getting into something that's almost a little bit like subversive or like a parody
the
in some
SNAFU
ways.
part of it.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a great history with romantic comedies in general.
I do indeed.
In fact, you are responsible for my watching romantic comedies at all.
Yeah,
in regards to anime, at least.
Mm-hmm. And I love them. I love them. There are a lot of them out there, but the thing is, a lot of them don't often end well. And this one, or even end at all. This one is finished, because apparently finished recently.
Just finished,
right?
Yeah.
So okay, cool, good time to get into it.
Yeah.
But two, I heard generally positive things,
Me
one
too.
might say. You know, just a little bit positive about the third season, both before and after. So that is another thing that I'm very excited about, because oftentimes, you know, the ending can be maybe left wanting, as I discovered with a recent manga.
One of the things that is kind of exciting, though, with this is that this is coming off of a third season that aired recently that the fans of the first two seasons had to wait years and years for.
Right, because apparently this started in, what was it, 2016?
I don't remember.
2014 or something
Yeah.
long time ago.
I was told at some point, and I don't remember when it started.
Yeah.
But it was a while ago.
Right.
And I don't think,
have to wait.
I don't think 2016 is when it started, Jacob. I think that was more like when the second season finished, if anything.
Oh, Jesus.
So like people have had to wait a long time. But we have a new show that is going to be in the romantic comedy kind of vein of things, which means that in some ways we're going back to a lot of the roots as far as delving into non-shonen anime from way back when.
That's a great
point. Could be really cool, because a lot of the anime that we've done on this channel particularly are either in the like hard drama or shonen kind of category.
Right.
And it's been a while since we've just sat down and watched a romantic comedy. So I'm here for this.
Rom-coms have a very special place in my heart, because they can just hit that right amount of just good fun, you know, laughs and things, because the comedy, but also this wonderful turbulent storm of emotion and, well, chaos, like you were saying, that I feel like other anime generally don't delve into as much, because, you know, if that is addressed, it's more in a subplot kind of way. Whereas we have apparently 3 cores of this. So yeah.
Let's just jump right into it, guys. All right, everyone. Now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below. Then come back here for the discussion.
This is fun.
Good first episode.
Yeah. The banter is very witty. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yep.
This whole episode very much felt like it was sort of an establishment of who these people are, you know? And
especially the main character Hiki, or as we got to know him. Kind of the perfect critic, if you will, on a lot of the things that we're going to be getting in this story.
Yes, right. And it's coming from a particular place in his past and everything, and having the episode start with him giving an essay on basically his view on things, where he can be a lot more candid, because it's just a monologue at that point, right?
Right. And then we find out, oh, cool twist, it's the thing he wrote.
Right.
To kind of give a little bit of a view on his high school experience life thus far.
Right. And a bit of also venting, which shows that it's something that he has a lot of strong emotions regarding. It's not just a passive sort of blasé thing. Like, there's some bite to it.
Yeah. And it comes from personal personal experience.
Yep.
And I use that adjective doubly so to get the two different meanings of personal. Personal meaning that it's in some ways a little bit it's a little bit private in that he probably keeps these comments specifically to the written bit there unless he's actively engaging in a what he would call like a worthwhile conversation.
Sure.
And thus then it came out in the a little bit came out in the discussions with Yukino.
Oh, my friend. Yeah.
Right. But then also personal in that this is tied to pain. This is tied to like very intimate, I would say, how would I say
something
this?
that he wouldn't want to have to actually go and deal with.
Yes.
It very much gives me this feeling that the rejection of, the people around him and looking down on everything they do is because when he tried to sort of participate in that and play in that game, he got burned for it. Multiple times. Yeah. So now it's this thing of, okay, well, it's all worthless, and I'll look down on everybody from my high horse.
Well, no. I think if it's anyways, there's no high horse here at all.
Okay.
No. Because he was basically saying that like the people that enjoy this are just in delusion. He's not saying like I am better than you because I'm not participating in delusion.
Sure, if anything, it's it doesn't necessarily have to be a high horse. Often there is a high horse when it's something where it's the everyone else is in the wrong, is delusional or whatever. Right. But doesn't have to be. Yeah.
I think if anything, he's not even riding the horse at all. Like he's just saying like no. Anyone who rides the horse is just stupid. They're completely missing the point of what youth is. But he doesn't have what youth is meant to be.
Right. Exactly.
Therefore, he can't have a high horse. He's an active non-participant, which makes him kind of have that same kind of snarky bite of a protagonist like Kion, for instance, in some ways, but like in a completely different vein. So we have him introduced here, and we get our teacher Hiratsuka, which I mean she is a caricature. She is something else.
Yeah.
But because the dialogue is so fun in the beginning bit here, her exaggerated stuff is just it's just good fun.
Oh yeah.
It's good fun.
And I love that they bring up the whole thing of like, wait, is this teacher about to punch him? And it's like, no, she's a teacher. No. She pretend punches him and punches past his ear. It was a warning shot,
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
One of the things that I like about this is we can infer a little bit from her, just a little bit, because this was something that she specifically assigned.
Yes, that's true.
Which means maybe she looks in these papers here every once in a while for people that she's like, who really could use something extra?
Right.
And maybe I have the most extra person that I can think of here who's like, I don't know, she's kind of low-key extra, She's not known for this dream necessarily.
Right, but she is definitely known by people as being, I'm the insanely talented, one, and I'm the popular one, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious to know where that angle's going to go, because she spoke about it a lot kind of in the past tense in addition to the present tense.
Because she also doesn't really have any friends, so...
Yeah, we are kind of like in this unique place with her where she's not mysterious, if you catch my drift. Like she's not a transfer student or anything like that.
Right.
But we haven't seen her in a school environment with other students yet.
Yes, and that's probably because of a lot of her own decisions. And in some ways, I feel like that makes them a good match, not necessarily as far as the romance angle. I mean, we can see that as it develops, but from the standpoint of their own issues that they need to deal with. Because they both have kind of voted themselves off of islands in different ways, where in her case, she doesn't have many friends, she doesn't see that as being a problem, and when Yui was trying to become her friend, there was that resistance, right? Right. And in Hachiman's case, or Hiki's case, there's the whole, everybody in, in high school and all that stuff are delusional and things like that. And the fact that he's in some ways kind of made peace with the fact that he doesn't have many friends because he's like, oh, that's something that no one would friends from say, this is coming from the source. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So
the parallels with the two of them, with the one who's given up versus the one who's trying so hard
but
in this very isolated manner.
Right.
We'll get to see maybe how that goes if we have an episode structure that leads to lots of different people coming through this kind of service club environment. We then get to meet Yui, who is kind of initially, I would say, we get kind of more of the tropey intro from her with like the Genki, kind of goofy, high energy, sporadic, calling our main character a nickname right off the bat, even though she doesn't know him. Maybe giving a little bit of that kind of crush energy on him as well, like rather quickly. Who knows? But we find out very quickly, because of how much she wears her emotions on her sleeves, that she is the people pleaser, low confidence, high energy kind of character. And yet she's very quick to accept the criticism or the harsh words from Yukino, which is completely opposite to the way things came in between our main character and Yukino. Where he was basically like, no. Me being forced to change is not something that's the problem here, right? So he's in the I'm not identifying the problem kind of area there.
Yeah.
And she was in the, oh my God, the way you delivered that was so meaningful.
Right. Even though she's kind of looking past the problems of the people around her in some ways, because what Yukino said was rather harsh, and she even said, I intended it to be harsh, right?
Right.
But she's like, no, I'm finally getting, or maybe not finally, that's sort of implied by me, but I'm getting honesty, I'm getting candidness.
Yes.
That's something that I strongly desire,
Yeah.
probably because I haven't gotten it very much.
Yep. I think we definitely can infer, based on the stuff that she commented about her friends, that, she doesn't get necessarily straightforward, direct responses because of the way she mentioned the thing about, oh, if you don't like me because you're a girl, that's basically saying that you hate me. That's what that translates to.
Right. It's the, not liking each other, but not saying it. So if you're actually saying that you
I don't
like
you.
me, then that's pretty much saying that you hate me. And and then the whole thing of how she talked about how, oh, I'm not good at anything, I don't have any talents and things like that. It's like, oh, how many people have been telling her that? Because when it came to the cookies, maybe they weren't the best, No,
they were bad.
They were bad. They were bad. Yeah.
But then we saw the genius of our main character coming in there and being like, you guys get out of here and I'll show you some amazing cookies.
Right.
And he gave them the perception that there was going to be some effort, but he basically just repackaged her cookies and gave them to her. And then she put on the best effort to respect the effort, which then gave her the perspective of, oh, they're not that bad. And he's like, haha, I gotcha.
Right, they're your cookies. Yeah.
So
and then, of course, he eats them, and he's like, no, these are really bad. But I'll eat it anyway.
Exactly. So we end up in this situation where, with the cooking scene, we can see how their trio dynamic would work moving forward.
Yes, especially given that they're also in this service club. So they have little activities, I'm guessing, that they can probably do moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that the starting question I have is, you can kind of meta guess that Yui will be just a part of the club, because when she returned, it was one of those things of time had passed.
Right.
So
week later,
Yeah. Why did she come back? Was it to join the club? Was it just to hang out with Yukino? Because she's like, you're just a genuine girl. Like, I have to hang out with you. We must be friends.
Yeah.
The extrovert comes in and claims the introvert and is like,
I'm going to keep you.
I'm going to take care of you and we're going to have a great time. And then Yukino's like, wait, actually, am I going to ask the MC to save me?
And then it's here's the cookies, which, is cool because, a week later, it wasn't like she just took the cookies that she had made right there and gave them to him. No. A week later. So that means she made cookies again, which means she applied herself again, because originally she wasn't really trying at all. And,
Right.
even just watching Yukino, she was able to make some progress, even though they were still awful,
yeah.
Like they didn't look like bits of charcoal. Like, I legit thought she was trying to make chocolate.
Right.
Like, that's what I thought that was supposed to be. It was
Yeah,
just
they
really
looked
bad
bad.
chocolate. No, those were supposed to be cookies. Oh, God. Right?
It's probably something to do with the butter levels. But anyway, the cooking bit with that was a fun way to showcase the themes of the story in that this will have a little bit of that slant that Monogatari took on this this area of character in-depth kind of transformation. And that is that people need to be empowered to save themselves.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not about going to someone else for help with saving themselves from their problem or what have you. As she called it, granting wishes, which is actually a cool maybe way that they'll market this, if you will, in future episodes, is that it'll be about them showing how characters have changed by coming to the service club for help.
Sure.
But the real magic is that these people all ended up basically just being taught how to fish, not actually just being given a fish, which, talking about Yukino's character, I think they defied a couple trope expectations with her character that I think is worth paying attention to.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're in episode 1, and there are a couple little things with her character that they just kind of were like, and nope, we're not going to do that. Nope, we're not going to do just that.
Yep.
We're going to take that, and just combine them all together.
This is my sort of condensed take that I've seen from this episode so far for each of the 3 characters. For Yukino, right? She's the, beautiful, perfect girl with the great grades and all of that stuff.
Right.
But she has all of these deeper issues, right? The bullying and things like that, and wanting to actively go out and change things, but then the sort of almost like self-sabotaging kind of behavior. Right, internal resistance.
Right.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yui. I straight up thought she was going to be the Genki character, and she kind of is. But then at the same time,
And she might not be.
But she might not be.
Because she's already changing.
Exactly. She's already changing. And right. So even if she was the Genki girl at the beginning, she doesn't seem to really be now, but there's still elements of that.
Or even if she has that, it's just not, that's not all
that doesn't
she
define
is.
her. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot more to it, and in potentially opposite directions, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a particular flavor of Genki. It's no, you can't just call her the Genki character, right?
Right.
And then with our main character, well, we've gotten plenty so far, because he's the one who's like I only do worthwhile conversations and things like that, very sort of non-committal and standoffish and whatnot, non-participatory. But he came up with the idea to make the cookies.
Right. And remember, he hasn't spoken with a female, with a girl in 2 years by his own omission.
Right.
By his own admission.
Right.
Which is, in some ways, it was his own omission that decided that he wouldn't talk with girls, basically. And he does show some very there's some problematic incel type behavior coming from this guy here,
and we can see why.
Yes, we can definitely see why.
Because so
So
the backstory bit that he gets into later when he tells the story of, hey, my friend, right? Okay, I understand that would really suck, right?
Totally.
Yeah. But when he talked about the last time he spoke with a girl was 2 years ago,
right?
And then we go into it, and it's barely a conversation.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like someone says something kind of to him.
It's
right? freaky
hot out there. It's really hot.
Yeah.
He's
and then
it's so freaky. It's freaky or something.
Right. He tries to respond, and immediately it goes awful. Right.
Right.
So that was the last time. So that means that was probably him after all of the previous stuff had happened.
All the other rejections and stuff had happened before that.
And that was essentially the last straw where he worked up the courage, and because he probably hadn't been doing it for a while, he does it badly, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, nope, that's it. But I'm done.
One of the things that might be inferred here, if he is a second year with them, which we'll go back and check that. I don't know if they actually got into it. I know that they mentioned that Yukino is a second year. But if he's a second year, that means he has not spoken to a girl in high school.
Right.
It literally has not happened yet. And then, because of what the teacher did, and forcing him to basically be in a closed room with the girl for a little bit. No, nothing lewd or criminal is going to happen. I loved how they joked about that so quickly to the point of almost like, no, this has nothing to do where we're going to get into any of those tropes and then he's going to end up getting slapped and she's going to yell, Baka! At him or something like that. No, none of that shit. Okay, then we get into the fact that he actually kind of tells off Yukino a bit and then also does hold a little bit of a sensible conversation with her, but it's a lot of dialogue.
Well,
so he's got all the capacity to talk to a girl. It's just one of the things of where he ends up either cutting himself short really quickly, or he just runs away before he's actually able to make the first word, which would make it work just fine.
Well,
maybe.
And one of the things that I love about it is that they had a good conversation. It was not a normal conversation, right?
Totally.
And now the banter in this show, right? It like there's one of the ways to look at it is that it's banter to make things more entertaining and things like that, and there you go. And it also shows characterization from the characters, right?
Sure.
But from the plot angle, essentially, right? Here are two people who have their guard up, right? And they regularly have their guard up, right?
Right.
They come in and they have a conversation, and they haven't been able to have a conversation with regular people, whatever that means, right? Because they have their guard up, right? So even when, in his case, when he goes to let the guard down a little bit, it comes off as stiff and awkward, and then he gets hurt right when his guard's down, and then he's like, nope, never doing that again, right?
Yep.
So they instead have this banter while their guard is up, right? Both of them have their guard up, and they're sort of like sticking spears over the shields, to sort of like, poke at each other, right? And because of that, they're able to have this good conversation because they're on equal ground in that regard, right? Even if it's not ground that they necessarily want to stay in, who knows? It's something where their idiosyncrasies and weirdness was compatible.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
I really like that a lot too. And there was a lot given with regards to Yukino based on the teacher's interactions, because I think one of the things that makes there be something that's something that's, I would say, pointed, and maybe I need to be careful about like diving into pointed on a specific thing. But when you have repetitions in the very beginning of a show, like you get something like literally repeated like multiple times, like the same thing repeated, but then you get different repetitions and each of like their own thing. So the main one was that the teacher is going to open the door, knock, but then opens the door immediately, basically saying, hey, yeah, I respect your boundaries by giving you an announcement that I'm coming in and stuff like that.
But I'm also going to push past them.
But I'm also going to push past them if you're going to basically try and like
use them to
control,
right? To just make me go away.
Exactly. So that was a nice little thing about her character, Yukino, basically having very high standards with regards to being able to get past her boundaries.
Sure.
Basically, you need to do these things in order for me to allow you to enter my domain.
Yeah, and
which
even
is like didn't I give you this domain? Probably, like she probably did. Like that's probably what the teacher did.
Yeah, having a club with one person is kind of tough. Also, the fact that all the desks are stacked on the opposite side of the room, so there's this big empty space. So when Hachiman comes in and he gets to sit down, he's sitting down like 15 feet from her.
Well, that was his choice. He could have sat anywhere.
That's true. That was his choice. But there's this part of me that gets the feeling where it's like, okay, there's no established places to sit near her. Like it's not like she's at one desk of many. Right. It's like she's just sitting in the one place to sit.
Right. Well, yeah. But again, there was nowhere to
anyone else to be in there. And
exactly. So I wouldn't. I see what you're getting at with there. But the other part was that she basically has some kind of protection over her person. The idea of, if you're going to do that, then that's going to influence my person in some way. If you if you do that.
Doing what?
Well, that was the thing. She had two different things. I am trying to find exactly what they were.
Was it of him being here in general when she was talking to the teacher?
Yeah. There's that one in the beginning.
I figured that was banter on the whole leaving me alone in a room with a boy kind of a thing.
Right, but the idea of her person being something that she's so worried about having harm done to that it's something that gets repeated as like a shtick or a line for her.
Gotcha.
I mean that it's something where she's maybe a little bit image obsessed, just a little bit, and yet she's in a room alone. So I felt a little bit of dissonance there, where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, is this just a banter thing, or is she, because she does have a very condescending attitude. There's pride there. You noted that as well. This is just another aspect of that pride potentially.
Right.
Maybe?
Yeah. It feels kind of like the thing, because the thing that was attacked, right, was, okay, she's, she has good grades, all the boys like her, things like that. She gets bullied as a result of it. She's sort of made armor out of it. And that can be a good thing,
Right.
But it can also, be a bad thing. And
Yeah. And one of the things that's tricky with this, though, is that by her saying it was because I was cute as well, you don't know that.
That's true. It could be because you said things like that, or all of the other things that you said. And
I'm never going to condone bullying, ever. This is something where the bullying is something that's just not cool at all. But I always find it interesting when people see themselves as like oppressed specifically, and they know exactly why. Right. I'm like, wait, who's the asshole who basically was like, you're so cute, I can't stand it,
I mean, there were probably some.
Sure.
But 60 is a lot.
Yeah. And I very much could see it being that and other things.
Right. It's the whole thing of not condoning the behavior, but if you're truly looking to stop the behavior, trying to understand the behavior is also helpful, because then, yeah.
Yeah, I almost immediately, this comes from like a personal story, almost immediately when I heard her say the line of like, this was all because I was cute. I think she said it literally twice again. She has this thing of repeating certain things that makes me go like, oh, okay. I would almost not even okay, so when I got bullied in the past, I never knew why it was happening. There was never even a hint in my mind of why it was happening. I was so confused and hurt and in pain by the thing that it was happening that I was just like, why? Like, why? Why do you have to be like this? It's just causing me pain. Like, do you just not care? And that was my judgment, if anything, was that these people just didn't care about me, which is probably true in a lot of ways. But there's no way I could know why they decided to bully me as opposed to anyone else.
Right.
But I have heard at times, personal experience, people like to say things that show themselves to be so great, and thus they get all this negativity.
Right.
And she said something like, it's like great men like suffer more or something like that.
Oh,
And I was just like, there's some
yeah.
There's some things in there
if
that
anyone's got the high horse, it's her actually.
Right. And I really want them to get into this. So I'm holding a lot back in this regard, but I have heard those types of words like in my personal experience where it ended up being, once I got to know the person a little bit more, it was not that at all. It was a thing that they had crafted this narrative to protect themselves around
so
them.
that they
can
avoid the thing that they
exactly
don't want to look at.
And like, this isn't a one time I've seen this kind of thing. I've seen this like 5 different times with very different people from very different times in my life. Probably over the course of, I don't know, since I was like 16. So yeah, that's like over a dozen years at this point. And that's like, ooh, that pattern just makes me go, oh, Yukino, I hope that's not a shortcoming for you. Because it's a really hard one to see.
but that just makes it juicier when it ends up.
I agree, exactly.
And given the fact that this is, I'm so glad it's not something as like simple or basic as the literature club, right? Because I was thinking it would be something like that too, right? You know, and it's like, well, okay, but no, instead it's the service club, and it's like, okay, yeah, 3 core rom-com, cool, all right. So now we can probably get into, you know, a semi-pattern of like there being different things that might be helping other people, might be helping themselves, but you know, teachers are the biggest learners. So even if it is something where they're helping someone else, that problem can relate to their own problem, and then they can talk with each other about that problem because they'll have different perspectives on it, and yeah, and then over the course of that story, maybe some
romance will develop.
Grows. Yep.
Or maybe that's the whole thing with this, is that it's like, well, yeah, maybe tons of romance blossoms, but the main point of it is that we're trying to help each other. We're trying to just help each other. We don't need necessarily romance to solve each other's problems.
Sure. I will say though, I feel like this could shape up to be a true love triangle, that in a way that many rom-coms don't go into, because with a triangle it has 3 sides. It's not 2 sides with 3 points, right?
Yes.
And there was a part of, you know, like towards the end there where I was thinking like, okay, Yui, I see how she could have a crutch on Hachiman or Hiki, right? Yeah. I could definitely see that. You know, she did give him the cookies shaped like a heart and all that stuff.
Literally after the thing.
And did the whole sway thing before you know, running off.
Yeah, that was cute.
But I could also see her crushing a little bit on Yukino. Because, you know, Yukino, well, again, compatible issues sort of a thing. Yukino's brash way of talking. She really deeply appreciated that.
Very much so.
You know? So, I don't know. And the whole SNAFU thing, right? Maybe that's part of it. It's that it's like, hey, you think you know what a rom-com would be like. It's just going to be the one triangle or whatever between the guy and the 2 girls, and we're going to be cheering for our team and all that stuff. But who knows? It could go a whole slew of kinds of ways.
We don't have to just have the top half of the isosceles triangle.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's get some equilateral stuff going here.
Exactly. But y'all, this is a fantastic first episode. There's a lot of dialogue in here. So, you know, if we missed anything, don't worry. We'll probably go back and check things out, you know, again on a second run through to make sure we got also those little details there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That is right. I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines. It's awesome, and it's on Amazon. If you want to read a good book, go to the link in the description and check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.